Hey there Facebook, it is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer and coach from Live, Love, Give. And today's message is one that I don't like putting labels on different people because I think that sometimes when we put each other and ourselves in boxes, we limit our ability to grow. But I think for the purposes of today's message, this is going to be one where I'm going to use a few little labels. And so it's why I have titled it, You Become a Walking Goldmine to narcissists when you are too altruistic. And I want to talk into those concepts and kind of explain a little bit about, what is narcissism, what is altruism, and why is that pattern happening? Why are we attracting narcissists into our lives when we're being overly altruistic? So let me dive into that and unpack that for you. But ultimately, what happens is we can be very well intentioned and be really altruistic, which means that we are selflessly concerned with meeting the needs of other people. It's all about what we're giving. It's all about how we're being of value. It's all about how we're being of service. And what happens is when we go too far in that direction, because we're all on a scale of narcissism, we've all got a narcissistic side, we've all got an altruistic side, but what labels somebody a narcissist in society is when they're so far down that side of the spectrum. And it's, narcissism is really just this extreme focus on the self. And seeing its needs being met at the expense of anything that comes in its way, because it's all about them, right? So what happens is, I'm always saying that everything is in balance, and when we are out of balance, we will attract different circumstances, people, situations, whatever it is, to bring us back into equilibrium, to bring us back into balance. So altruism is at one end of the spectrum, and narcissism is at the opposite end of the spectrum. And what happens is we always attract our reciprocal, meaning that if you are highly, extremely altruistic, you're going to attract somebody into your life who is highly, extremely narcissistic, and that's part of nature. It's part of what kind of happens energy-wise, right? To balance each other out. But where this kind of becomes a problem, because any extreme is not necessarily healthy. So what we need to do, if you're somebody who finds yourself attracting narcissists all the time, and what happens is, when that happens, when that dynamic is at play and we attract two extremes into one relationship, we create this really codependent dynamic that is super unhealthy for both parties, not just one. And what happens is we get so caught up in this codependence, and this altruistic person feels like they're going to be the one to save this person, and this person needs them, and all of this stuff. We have to remember why that person is so at the extreme end of altruism, where it's all about giving, is because they're not necessarily filled up with their own level of self-worth, that they're open to receiving something that they need. So that's why their self-worth is so tied up in what they can give and feeling needed, that the narcissist comes into play and they see this altruistic person is this gold mine, because, whoa, here's somebody in the world who would actually fulfill on all of my needs and make it all about me, and I wouldn't even have to worry about what their needs are. And that becomes the gold mine, yes. And then that altruistic person almost becomes the only person that would be able to deal and handle that really narcissistic person. And they're just, they feel so needed and wanted. And so they're getting their needs met, even though it's this narcissistic, unhealthy dynamic. But, they start getting into this codependence with one another, because for the narcissist, this altruistic person is the only person who's ever going to meet all of their needs and obey all of their wants. And this, to the altruistic person, this narcissist is just this person who needs them and needs them in every moment for everything. And what happens is this altruistic person, even though they find out this is not feeling healthy, what happens is they end up staying in this dynamic, and they start taking on their own narcissism by thinking, but what would this person do without me? You know, who would they be? They'd be left for dead if I wasn't here to be there for them, and they need me, and I can't meet my own needs because this person, I'm their everything. And so they get caught up in their own little narcissistic / altruistic kind of weirdness, and keeping this unhealthy dynamic at play. And ultimately, the only way out of this behavior is to balance ourselves out. So, and this altruistic person with this narcissist, they're not doing them any favors whatsoever by allowing them to continue to treat them like this and to continue to expect that everybody else is supposed to meet their needs and they don't need to meet anybody else's. And so, this whole unhealthy dynamic is at play, even though there might be some good intentions, but it's not well thought out, and it's certainly not empowered. And the way out of this dynamic is usually for the altruistic person to step up and become a leader, and that's much easier said than done. But ultimately, if we think about the altruistic person being in this position because they're lacking self-worth and they're generating self-worth from what they can give, and therefore if they receive, it's ultimately taking away from their self-worth because now they're burdening somebody else. And that's kind of the dynamic and the mindset that's going on in this altruistic person. So what we need to do is help to balance them out and build their self-worth. But ultimately, we need to think about creating a new vision for our life that has balance between both our altruistic side about all that we want to give and contribute, but balanced out with all that we want to receive and have in our lives. We have to realize that we have both sides, and if we get to those extremes, we become super unhealthy. And if we want to avoid getting in those unhealthy dynamics and relationship dynamics, then we ultimately need to take the onus onto us and create a vision that encapsulates both sides. What would you absolutely love to give and contribute? And what would you absolutely love to have and to receive in your life? Got to have that vision for both sides if we want to break those unhealthy dynamics. And absolutely, self-worth is at the base for you to even get into action and create something compelling for yourself. If you don't have self-worth, you're never going to do the work. So we've got to start with the self-love and the self-worth. And then we can get into action for creating something compelling that has both sides in balance. So really, really hope that today's message is resonating with you guys. I hope it's worth your time listening into this message, and I hope that it is inspiring you to think about a vision that incorporates both sides, not just all altruistic and not just all narcissistic. We've got to have both sides absolutely to be healthy and to have fulfilling lives. And speaking of fulfilling lives, I am doing this live training for you guys. I hope you all know about it, and I hope that you're all registered for it. It starts tomorrow, less than 24 hours from now. I'm super pumped and super excited about sharing it with you. I've been working with it tirelessly like a workaholic over the last few days, and I'm super pumped and excited to give you this level of value. So I hope that you're registered, because it's not going to be on Facebook Live like normal. You're going to need a special link that will be emailed to you upon you registering with the link that I've put up above, and it's going to be streamed via YouTube. I think it's going to be like a YouTube live thing. I've never done it before, so hopefully I get it all together and it all works without any issues. I think it'll be all right. But you'll need this special link, and it'll be on this different site that I use. So anyway, I'm not going to go all technical on you, but make sure that you register, because I can't wait to see you guys there. I want every single one of you guys there. And if you can't make that specific time, still register, because you'll get access to the recording that way. But you'll want to make sure that you're live if you can be, because I'm going to be giving a very special gift to everybody who stays with me throughout the entire training tomorrow. So you want to make sure that you're live, because you only get it if you're live. So definitely want to check in with you guys now and see who's been able to join me. I've got Natalie and Jace and Sam and Philippe and Kaden and Karim and Jamie. And thank you, Sam. Loving that you're loving the white today. And hello to you, Jamie, and Renee, and Hassani, and Madeline, and Jessica, and Madeline. I love that you're joining from Sweden. So beautiful. A place I've never been, but I'm totally, really want to get to, and I'm sure I will. So, Tracy's here, and Asif, and Richie, hello to you, and Eric, and Neo Vio, hello to you, and Manu, and Philippe. I'm loving that you're loving this message. That's awesome. And Marlon, say hi, Vanessa. God bless you. Take care. Thank you, Marlon, and same to you. Thanks for being here. And Mark's here, and Pam. So true. It's tough to get out. Absolutely. I feel your pain. The pathway forward is always working on yourself, and stop being so altruistic and so beautiful. I know, but you've got to stop being so altruistic and focusing externally on other people. You've got to bring back into the self if you ever want to establish healthy connections and truly be of service to everybody else. So that's kind of the paradox of being too altruistic. You end up not being of service or help to anybody, and actually keeping them stuck and limited in their narcissistic behavior. So absolutely so true, Pam. And Madeline, your message is such an eye-opener. I love hearing that. That's awesome. And you're fantastic. Thank you, Madeline. You're so beautiful. And Lisa's here. Awesome. And Ram and Joe and Supreet. And Sam resonates with feminine and masculine energies in each of us. Absolutely spot on. Very much so. And we need to, no matter if I'm feminine or, or female, and, you guys, a man out there is male, right? It doesn't matter. We have both sides, and we need to be in balance. It is interconnected with masculine and feminine energies. But yes, again, we need both sides. Absolutely. And thank you, Sam. And Sarah's here, and Ram. We too are super excited for the training 8-step. Awesome. I'm like jumping out of my skin. I'm so excited to share it with you guys. And I love that you're excited too. And Jamie, you are super welcome. And Kidamet, I'm thinking all my mind. Oh, okay. Thank you for being here, Kidamet. And Holly's here, and Lisa, hello. And Jace, morning there, self-worth. Yes, sometimes I think you have to walk away from these narcissist types as they suck you into their world and attitude. Absolutely. And if any of you guys are kind of struggling with that dynamic, I highly recommend the work of Melanie Tonya Evans. Beautiful human being who I've had the pleasure and the honor of interviewing all around this topic of narcissism. And she's somebody who has a huge story around escaping those kind of relationships. Beautiful woman, very well intentioned, and has great work on this topic. So I encourage you to check out her work. And one of the things that she says is that the worst thing that you can do is to bite back and stay in connection and communication with the narcissist, because it feeds their narcissism. So that's why, absolutely, Jace, I totally would agree with you on that, that sometimes the best thing that we can do is cut connection and walk away and, have the self-worth and value within ourselves to actually do that. So absolutely, Jace, thank you. And hey, Sarah, nice to see you. And Madeline, you are so welcome to visit me and stay in my house. Oh, Madeline, you're absolutely touching my heart with your kindness and generosity there. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. You guys always make my day. And Sam, that's a big group, going to 300 webinars, loving this. Absolutely. My brain might not be working as to exactly what you're talking about, but I'm sure it's good. Mike is here. Awesome. And Lisa, it's daylight savings time tonight, so I hope I have the correct time for the training tomorrow morning. Lisa, I know. Trust me to pick the time where there's a daylight saving somewhere in the world. But tell me where you are. I've got a link. I'll drop a link. Go to World Time Buddy and double check the time. Make sure that you select the correct date. It's going to be happening tomorrow in Melbourne on the 12th of March at 9 a.m., which is Australian Eastern Daylight Time. But in LA, that's going to be 3 p.m. with the daylight savings change. So make sure that you're double checking that. I think the way that daylight savings is working, if you do get it wrong, you'll be an hour early. So I'm grateful for that, because I would so hate for any of you guys to miss it. And at least if you're an hour early, you'll see that, oh, you might wake up to the fact that the times have changed. So thanks for bringing that up, Lisa. And yes, don't miss it. Don't miss it. I forget where you are in the world. But let me know so I can find it out for you, or double check World Time Buddy. It'll have all the answers there for you. And Carlo, a genius is one that others cannot understand until after years and years. All right. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one, Aaron. Carlo, I was saying hello to Aaron at the same time. And KO's here, and Alexandria, my spirit sister, awesome. And Scott, you are awesome, my friend. And Elliot's here, and Charlie and Sam. Meant your training got almost 300 registered members for the webinar tomorrow. Oh, no, not 300. I hope it gets to 300, but it's something like, I think, creeping up to 140 or 50 right now. Super excited. I hope everybody who registers is able to join, because it's going to be massive and amazing. And Elliot, you're late, but I love that you've joined anyway, and I hope you catch the recording, get a ton of value from today's message. And Tony and David and Sonia are here as well. So guys, that really was my message for you. Make sure that you are absolutely in balance. Balance out your altruistic side, where you want to give and you want to contribute, with your narcissistic side that we all have, which is what you want to have and what you want to receive. We need both, and whenever we're at either extreme, we create massively unhealthy dynamics, not only in love, but definitely in all areas of life. So make sure that you are doing the learning there, creating a new compelling version that vision for yourself that has both what you want to give and contribute with what you want to receive and have in your life as well. And I really hope that today's message has served you as always. And definitely make sure you are all registered for tomorrow's live free training. I am super pumped and super excited. I know I've said it a million times, but I really am. And I hope you are too. And I cannot wait to see you live there. And then 9 a.m. Melbourne time, LA time 3 p.m. on Sunday. So definitely check the clocks. Make sure you don't get caught up with the daylight savings change over there in the States. And I really hope you can make it. Can't wait to give you all that value. Sending you guys, as always, all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I hope it's absolutely beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, just like you. And I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. Much love.